Now, our next guest, Michael Rothstein. Any relation to you, Ryan Rothstein?
Not that I know of, but maybe he's like a distant third cousin.
No relation, though.
No relation to my knowledge.
All right, we'll
unless
find
he
out.
knows something I don't.
Michael Rothstein covers the Lions, ESPN.com, NFL Nation, and, of course, the Lions are in town to face a very banged-up Eagles team. Michael, how are you?
I am good. I'm just learning apparently I have a new cousin.
Yeah, I was going to say, any relation to our own Ryan Rothstein on set with us here? Nothing?
Not to my knowledge, no. I found.
Where's Thanksgiving this year, Mike?
Thanksgiving is in Detroit. If you want to come hang out, my dad.
Always in Detroit.
Yeah,
you're definitely not related
Detroit.
if he didn't know Thanksgiving was in Detroit, right?
Yeah, well, no one knows that. We kind of keep it low key.
Yeah.
So let me ask you to start things off here. The Eagles are kind of banged up, but yet a 7-point favorite this thing opened. It seemed like Vegas kind of still feels like, the injuries aside, the Eagles are still a better football team. But how confident is this Lions team after beating a pretty solid Chargers team last week?
I think they have some belief, and I think that there's a team. They're a team that feels like they played well and they beat the Chargers. Or let me rephrase that. They beat the Chargers by not playing particularly well. Offensively, they moved the ball okay, not great. Defensively, they really struggled against the run, and Keenan Allen really had a good day against Darius Slay until it mattered there at the end. So when they look at it, they're like, yeah, they won the game, but they feel like there's a lot of room where they can get better. And when you look at this roster that they constructed, that's generally what their thought process has been all along. You know, I mean, it's an interesting situation, right? Because they were a timeout on a third down call play away from beating the Cardinals in regulation. And then realistically, the Chargers had 2 rushing touchdowns called back on 2 consecutive plays. So that was the difference in that game. So they're really kind of have been in both games and just been playing good enough to win or tie in both situations.
Kerryon Johnson, second-round pick last year. It seems that the running game is something that hasn't been in Detroit since probably before they started playing Thanksgiving games out there. Did they finally get something there, or is it something that they're still searching for?
No, Kerryon Johnson is legitimate. Kerryon Johnson is a guy that they believe can be a number 1 rusher, and he's a guy that they're really trusting to have that role. They'll never call him the featured back, mostly because they do rotate through guys. Ty Johnson will be the guy that gets the second most amount of carries after they cut C.J. Anderson. Ty Johnson's a rookie out of Maryland. But Kerryon Johnson's their guy. They're just going to always manage his reps to an extent, and when you're talking about that, maybe 16 to 18 touches per game instead of what some of those other top backs get, which is 25 to 30. And that's in part because they want to make sure he's healthy for all 16 games. Remember, this offense worked pretty well last year when he was healthy. Then he got hurt, and everything fell apart. And they're trying to avoid doing that again this year because they feel like their defense is a lot better this year than it was last year. And frankly, their team is as well.
Mike, you mentioned that the Lions have not been good against the run yet so far this year. That surprises me because obviously they reinforced the line. They traded for Snacks Harrison last year. They have a first-round pick, I believe, in Sean Robinson. And then Mike Daniels was a free agent signing for them too. Did you expect them to be better against the run than they've shown so far?
Yeah, absolutely. The Snacks Harrison trade last year completely changed the way that the Lions played run defense. Before they traded for Harrison, they were really poor against the run. And then they traded for Harrison, and he got a lot better. And as you guys in Philly know, you know how good Harrison is. You saw him play for the Jets. You saw him play for the Giants for a lot of years. So they are expected to be better there. I thought they would be better last week against the Chargers, against the run. Just hasn't been there, but I expect it will come into form at some point here soon because don't forget, Snacks Harrison missed most of preseason. Trey Flowers missed most of the preseason. Deshaun Hand still not back yet, and he has missed 6 weeks, basically. Don't know if he's going to play on Sunday. I'd be surprised if he does at this point, but he is at the point that when they get all 3 of those guys back and truly healthy and truly back into rotation, I think that they'll be in a situation where they'll have one of the better run defenses in the league.
We're talking with Michael Rothstein here, covers the Detroit Lions and giving us some insight on the other side of the ball. And cousin Michael here, I wanted to ask you, the receiving core for the Detroit Lions, I think they're a little bit underrated. Maybe the average Eagles fan doesn't realize the production that not just Galladay's putting out, but really everyone that's lining up for the Lions offense. Talk about what you've seen over 2 games so far this year and where there can be some opportunities for the Detroit Lions to take advantage of the Philadelphia Eagles on the other side.
Yeah, Marvin Jones is a guy that, he doesn't get a ton of the attention, but he was a 1,000-yard receiver when he was healthy in 2017. He was on his way to another 1,000-yard season, give or take, before he got hurt against Chicago last year. He's settled into kind of that number 2 receiver role. They signed him after Calvin Johnson retired, so they thought he might be the number 1. But Kenny Galladay is a player that really is turning into one of the better receivers in the league, and maybe the best receiver in the league you don't know anything or don't hear much about. And what he does is he's so good at high-pointing the ball. His catch radius is massive, and he can make a contested catch over and over and over again. And that's what really, really makes him dangerous for the Lions, and that's something that they're going to have to deal with. Now, the other guy to watch is going to be T.J. Hawkinson, the rookie tight end out of Iowa, taken in the top 10 pick. Generally, we know that top 10 picks are in a situation where that honestly, they don't produce all that well as rookies. But T.J. Hawkinson had set a record in a debut against Arizona for a rookie tight end, and he's only gotten better. He didn't get as much attention. Let me rephrase that. He didn't get as much work and as many targets last week against the Chargers because teams are starting to figure him out. But he is going to be a guy that they're just going to pay. That's going to be a guy that teams are going to have to pay attention to all year long. And if they don't, he can have, I think, a Zach Ertz level of impact on a game.
Wow.
Now, Mike, I got to ask, how has Patricia been this year? Has he settled down a little bit? I know he got on your case last year in a press conference for posture, which is amazing because he comes out with a beard as long as, most of us are in height. Has he kind of settled in and understood that he's a head coach now and there's always criticism that comes with moves, or is he kind of another Belichick disciple that thinks that you can't question a single thing that he does?
My posture is fantastic. Thank you for asking.
I'm sure it was, too.
I know, it's great now. I know, last year I had some back issues myself, so it wasn't the best. But, no, it's a lot better now, and he's gotten a lot better, too. He's a lot more comfortable with the media. He's a lot more comfortable in how he answers questions. It's a night and day difference between Matt Patricia last year and Matt Patricia this year, at least with how he's dealing with people off of the field and in the press room. And really even in the locker room as well. Everything seems to be working a lot better and a lot smoother this year.
Michael Rothstein covers the Lions. We'll leave with this. The Eagles are really banged up. I mean, Jackson's not going to play. Clement is out. We just got the injury out for the Eagles. Jimmy Jernigan, a lot of guys questionable. Goddard, Jeffrey, Camus looks like he's not going to play. Injury situation in Detroit. I know Jared Davis was a question. Decker as well. What's it look like for them?
Basically it's this, that Jared Davis is on track to play. It looks like Taylor Decker's on track to play. Deshaun Hand's the guy to really be concerned with. And Rashawn Melvin's going to be a guy to watch as well. And if he can't go for whatever reason, that's going to leave the Lions as a big hole at corner.
All right, that game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Countdown to kickoff with Tony Bruno at 10 o'clock. Merrill and Mike at 1. Michael Rothstein covers the Lions for ESPN, and he was kind enough to join us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Thank you, Michael.
Hey, thank you guys. Anytime.